Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day, as always. A great week out there. Got you an update on what's going to happen weather-wise for today for most of the country. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about quite a few things, give you an update on the tropics, talk about the cold front that potentially could be coming next week. Talk a little bit about the Southwest. We're going to talk a little bit about K. I believe it's a tropical storm right now, or either it might be a low-end hurricane. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Give you, some very small information on what that can mean for areas of California. And I think tonight we'll break down that a little bit more. I know I don't talk much on the West Coast, but it certainly could be a big storyline as what's left over from Tropical Storm K could bring a ton of moisture to southern areas of California, where they're dealing also right now with the intense heat wave, which we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll break down everything. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It goes a long way. I really appreciate the support. And I'm definitely feeling a little under the weather, guys. I've had a little bit of a cold all week. Also asking for prayers. The plumbers come here probably within the next 2 hours, and they start on a pretty big project. We're replacing all my plumbing work in my house. So just asking for prayers that they don't run into any kind of major issues. They don't have to bust open too many walls. And it can just be a smooth repair over the next 2 days. But if you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rocking this morning here. Hurricane Earl is looking very good. It's pushing major status. It's a 105 mile per hour storm. It needs to be a 111 or higher mile per hour storm to be considered a Category 3 hurricane, which is considered major status. You also got 95L out here doing pretty well for a tropical wave. And then you got a tropical wave down here well to the southeast. But for now, not expecting any kind of threatening scenarios from any of this. The only thing that could be threatening is for Bermuda. We need to watch, see how close this passes to the southeast and east of Bermuda. Hopefully it doesn't get very close at all. We're not thinking it is. The center certainly is not going to go over Bermuda, but we'll see how close it can get. At the same time, the Gulf of Mexico is starting to gear up, starting to push a lot of moisture into the southeast. But honestly, I think areas of the southeast, especially the mid-Atlantic, could get a little bit of dry air before the atmosphere really moistens up sometime later today and this evening. So definitely consider it a treat before the atmosphere really gets moistened up. And then we got K way over here, which we'll take a look at. But going forward here is the National Weather Service Hurricane Center update on the Atlantic. You got Earl, which per the 5 a.m. update is a 105 mile per hour storm. Might get upgraded to a 110 mile per hour storm on the next update, which is still technically the highest you can go and be a Category 2. But if it gets upgraded to 115, that would be a Category 3 hurricane, which is considered major. So we got a 70% chance of this invest to develop in the next 2 days, and a 0% chance of this one the next 2 days. But if you go and look at this, actually, okay, maybe I don't have it. Okay, but you actually have I believe a 30% chance for this to develop in the next 5 days. So taking a look at Earl, like I said, 105 mile per hour storm. It's moving north right now at about 9 miles per hour. Hurricane watch is up for Bermuda. Tropical storm warnings up. So they're expecting at least a period of tropical storm force conditions, force winds. But this will be a major hurricane probably in the next update or two. So probably by, I would imagine, the 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. update, this will likely be a major hurricane, considered a major hurricane. But some model guidance, that's why you see this weird cone of uncertainty that kind of bumps up right here and kind of flirts with the idea of affecting Newfoundland. We'll watch this, but only really the GFS kind of shows it. It doesn't do really any kind of loop, but it kind of stalls out, inches a little bit closer to the west. But we'll watch you folks in Newfoundland. Right now, I'm not expecting anything impactful at all, except some big-time swells. But Hurricane Earl doing his thing out there. And then we got K, which is actually, K is still a hurricane, an 85 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane. I thought it got downgraded to a tropical storm, but it hasn't. Hurricane warnings up for areas of the central coastal line, the central coastline of Baja California, and then we got tropical storm warnings all the way up to the California, Mexico, Baja California line here. But no tropical storm warnings or watches up for anybody up into San Diego or LA. But you're going to get some big time swells and a big push of moisture in the southern Cal. And in fact, you have a moderate risk just outside of San Diego, just to your east, Yuma, Arizona, for example, LA, there's going to be a big push of moisture into this area. And, not just Southern California, this is going to make it all the way into Southern Nevada. And also it's going to be into western and southwest areas of Arizona, certainly, where you have a moderate risk of flash flooding occurring over the next 3 days. And really, this is probably for Saturday into Sunday. We'll watch for this. This could be a big storyline. We need to watch. This could be a big push of moisture. Even though K is going to be heading on out to sea, it still doesn't matter. Basically, this is a half a cane out here. So basically, all the moisture is on the eastern side of K. There's hardly nothing on the western side. But Storm Prediction Center, maybe some severe storms in Wyoming today, small section of western South Dakota, and then we'll watch the UP of Michigan, far northern areas of Wisconsin, and then areas of northern and northeast areas of Minnesota for some severe storms today. The biggest threat will probably be just some damaging winds and small hail, but I don't think this will be a big storyline. As far as excessive rain today for rainfall outlook for flash flooding, the only area I'm really concerned about is this section of southeast Georgia, southern areas of South Carolina, and then maybe down here in the Jacksonville, Florida area. I think we're going to get a lot of moisture, a lot of tropical slow-moving downpours in this area, and flooding can certainly be a concern in this area, and we'll take a look at that here. And in fact, let's go on and look at it right now. The latest HRRR model for today, you already got moisture pushing into the Big Bend areas of Florida, pushing into the Tampa Bay area a little bit later this morning until around lunchtime. This will continue, and it'll just be widespread showers and storms for the entire peninsula of Florida. Into southeast areas of Georgia also, we'll see a lot of rain today. But further a little north, you got a little bit of dry air that's actually pushing into the Carolinas. You're not going to get a lot of moisture today, but we'll watch. I think I actually got a little bit of an in-situation CAD going on that's going to push a little bit of dry air. So you're not going to see much rain today once you get into the Midlands of South Carolina, central Georgia, points north. Most of it will be confined to this area for the entire southeast. Moving into the northeast today, pretty quiet weather. Maybe a shower or two in areas of Maryland and Pennsylvania, Virginia, maybe a storm in western areas of Virginia. Other than that, maybe some showers, maybe an isolated heavier downpour in northern Maine. Pretty quiet. South central U.S., pretty quiet weather today also. Some pop-up showers and storms could pop up in areas of south central Texas and move south. We'll watch for this. And then some tropical downpours certainly are most likely in areas of the southern half of Louisiana. And here you go, the north central U.S. We could see some storms today, and here it comes, probably later this evening. But, these will likely occur probably into the overnight hours. If they do happen, watch out northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan. It might be a stormy morning for your Friday morning tomorrow. We'll watch for that. But other than that, not a big deal. Look at this little blue showing up. We like to see that. It's wild because I'm pretty sure the temperatures in that same area right now today are actually going to get into the 90s, but a big time front is going to push. It's called an anafront. Sometimes some people call it a blue norther, but really we don't call them blue northers until they get all the way down here in Texas. Those are those cold fronts that can come down and really drop the temperature substantially in a 12 to 24 hour period. But I'll watch this area today. In fact, you look at the 06Z and you see this front come through. Look at this front that blasts through and will substantially cool you guys down. So we'll watch for the mountains there in western and southwest South Dakota for sure. But it's pretty funny you're seeing a little bit of blue showing up down here. But uh-oh, got a sneeze coming. Here we go. All right, it went away. Cool. The Valley of California, you are going to have a scorcher today. I mean, well over 110 degrees for many areas. It's been very hot. Forgive me for not mentioning this area, guys. It's just, there hasn't been a lot to talk about, and I know a lot of my viewers aren't from out west, but I do have some viewers who faithfully watch sometimes, and I'm sure they're wondering why I never cover out west. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's because if I did this full time, I would probably cover even areas outside of the U.S., but it takes a lot of time to cover even just the entire U.S. It does, working a full-time job. And I don't know the West as much, so I'm basically just kind of, I've never been out there. There's so many geographical regions. I can just kind of look at this and and shoot for the dark here, and look at these temperature maps that anybody can look at. So, but I can tell you it's going to be hot. You got a heat dome still flexing in this area, but the good news is, actually in the 6 to 10 day outlook, you're going to get rid of these really hot temperatures. So relief is coming. So just give it a few more days. And I think rain-cooled air is going to dominate Southern California. So the remnants of K will actually help you guys out. But you can see the front coming down to Montana that will cool a lot of people down. But looking at Hurricane Earl out here, the sun's coming up on it. It's a good-looking hurricane now. It was looking kind of rough last night, but it's looking better. Bermuda's right here. I'm sure you're waking up some cloudy conditions. Some outer bands are probably beginning to work from your south of Bermuda. We'll see. But here it is. The eye is trying to clear out. Still I would say a rough-looking eye. It's definitely not cleared out, but we'll watch. But here it is. I mean, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Florida. I mean, it gives you an idea how close Earl is. I mean, it's not very far away. It's just south of Bermuda, and, it's pushing a major hurricane. In fact, by the time some of you watch this video, it will be a major hurricane. So it's a good-looking hurricane out there. It isn't bothering anybody right now, just the fishes. But we'll take a look at the European guys, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to hype things up that really isn't necessary to hype up. And really nothing's necessary to hype up until you really need to start sounding the alarm when we have a major hurricane about to make landfall. But here we go. We'll watch this little area right here, which has that 70% chance to develop. And we'll see how this goes. But it's really looking like this is going to head out to sea. And I don't even know if this is going to take a name. Fiona's our next name. But consistently, the Euro has liked this wave behind it. We'll stop this for about 8 days out. Has an all-out hurricane in the main development region. But what you're noticing is there's a big weakness right here in the upper levels. So this hurricane is actually just going to head out to sea. So, I mean, that's my gut feeling. If anything forms, of course, we don't know what the steering currents are going to be 7 to 10 days out, but we have a pretty good idea. And the trend has been this year that, especially if these systems get stronger early, they're going to head out to sea. I feel like the only reason Earl got so far west over here is because it stayed so weak and was steered more. It was steered more by those lower levels, lower level winds. I'm sorry, guys. I'm struggling. I'm not feeling the best. So bear with me if I'm just not speaking as fluent as normal. But we talked about that before. Basically, the higher currents steer these stronger storms more. The lower currents, they're more sensitive. The weaker storms are more sensitive to the lower currents and the lower levels of the atmosphere is what I'm trying to say. Weather models here showing the ensembles. I mean, they're everywhere. Here's that first wave. Some of them go out to sea. Some of them actually keep moving west. It looks like the weaker members. Like I said, the weaker members, the higher the number, the weaker the storm, actually keeps chugging west. The stronger members turn out to sea. But then you got the signal behind it, but it's already looking like it's gaining latitude, which to me tells me it's heading out to sea. But we'll continue to watch this. There's nothing popping up in the Gulf of Mexico that's good. But my gut tells me, guys, and I'm not making some kind of prediction because I'm basing it off nothing except my gut. My gut tells me we're going to get something in the Gulf of Mexico in October or late September. I just don't see how we can go the entire hurricane season with nothing going on in the Gulf of Mexico. We've seen it time and time again, many tropical systems in the Gulf of Mexico in October. And, I mean, we've even seen big-time systems off the coast of the southeast in October. I believe, what was it, Matthew was an October storm. What was it, Hakeem or something? I can't remember, the one that caused all that crazy flooding for South Carolina. But yeah, we've had crazy weather in the south in October. So, don't let your guard down, guys. But I can tell you the North Atlantic, it just isn't providing any kind of threatening scenarios out here, and it's good news. It really has. It's pretty much put a cap on a hyperactive hurricane season that was predicted. The good news is, and it's very small, and to me, you see how you have this area blue. This is a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So this is between the 13th and the 17th of this month, so coming up in the next 5 days. It's saying below average temperatures for a huge area of the south and mid-south, but the confidence is kind of low. That's a 40 to 50% chance of below average temperatures expected. I'm expecting some kind of upper trough. It's not a full-fledged cold front, unfortunately. Upper trough, kind of big old cutoff low to come through, bring its own dry air, and I think that this will bring some relief to the humidity. But this is not the cold front I think we're looking for. I don't, but I think it could bring some relief for a few days for most of the U.S. next week. So, most of the central U.S., most of the central to eastern U.S. I'm struggling. But we'll talk more about that tonight. God bless all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know it was a struggle bus here this morning, but appreciate y'all tuning in regardless and supporting what I do here. And hopefully I'll feel a little bit better this evening and things go good today. And hope y'all have an awesome Thursday. God bless.